Hey everyone, it's Dayna and I'm with Anami Astrology, Anami Therapy. I wanted to get on here today as we are all quarantined, we're all in our own energy and in our own space, and offer something that is the best way I know how to contribute to this time and the space that we're all in. I am very much connected to the energies and astrological shifts. So today is definitely an interesting day. We are experiencing Saturn going into Aquarius, and we have just really seen so much change within the beginning of 2020 that this is indeed another preview of more change, more disruption. Aquarius is a very disruptive energy because it's ruled by Uranus, and that is the planet of freedom, of shock, of liberation, and change. It's the only planet that rotates on its side and opposite orbit of all the other planets. So it's unique. It's all about individuality, freedom of expression, and authenticity. So I'm going to pull up the chart and the transits just so I can kind of show you guys symbols and the signs, so you can kind of grasp what's happening for you in your own chart and how to understand this activation and understand how it will kind of unlock this part of you. So let me go ahead and pull that up. Okay. So this is my software system, Astro Gold, which it really puts together the chart nicely. Now, in the times that we're in, we're coming out of Saturn being in Capricorn, and Saturn went into Capricorn December 21st, 2017, and he will stay in a sign for about 2.5 years. So Saturn rules things like initiation. So Saturn return is a big deal for us. It's a big deal for everyone. It was a huge deal for me. I'm ruled by Saturn. It's that initiation into adulthood, and initiation can be an indication of pain or crises or loss on the physical plane. Saturn rules things on our physical plane. He rules density, rules structures, rules things like our teeth, our skeletal system, our bones, our just the foundation of really anything, and on another note, our government and banking systems, things like structures that once provided safety and security. Now, the whole time that this is Saturn, so his symbol looks like this, and his mantra is mind over matter. So he's all about perseverance, and Saturn brings you into your life's work. Wherever he is in your chart, in your natal chart, that is how and where you become a master. And so Saturn is one of my favorite planets to talk about because he shows you where you need to apply your discipline, where you need to structure yourself so that you are in alignment with your purpose. And when we are in resistance to our purpose, we will feel confused, we'll feel lost or disoriented. And not to say those things don't come up when you're in alignment. Of course they will, because ego likes to come in and have his way. But Saturn is truly where we get to explore our calling and what we're really here for through that disciplined action, through the structure. So definitely take note of where Saturn is in your chart, because it does have that. It's a portal to your self-mastery. So when Saturn went into Capricorn, he really was never alone in Capricorn. Pluto was already there. And normally Saturn, has his way through a sign. And the conjunction of Pluto-Saturn is what we are really in. That's why it's so intense. Normally Saturn in Capricorn is not that intense, but it has the support of Pluto, which has been dismantling all of the 3D structures and systems that we've seen in place for eons. So this is a big deal. Astrologers can see upcoming energies, might not be able to predict exactly what's going to happen because it's not a fortune teller type of divination, but it is intuitive once you get to know, the archetypes and the planets and kind of plug everything together in the houses. And just knowing that these two have been working in tandem to really pull the rug out of anything that's been false or built on something that's been programmed to instill fear or bondage or slavery. And this is really what we're seeing on a global level, crumble. So Pluto is one of my favorite energies because it is about empowerment, and it's about empowerment through destruction. So it's through the chaos and things falling and collapsing, that we rise from our own ashes. So this is an exciting time that we're in, even though, there's a lot of hysteria in the collective. It's our job to really empower ourselves through how we feel, and we get to choose how something makes us feel. Yes, feel your feelings and work through them, but know that they don't own you, like love them like a mother would love a crying baby. But to understand the best way you can really soothe yourself is through the witnessing of this feeling that's arising. So there are many resources out there that can help us, but breath work is especially helpful. And really staying grounded and centered in your energy is going to be the most helpful at this time. So back to astrology, the energy of Pluto. So Pluto's been in Capricorn since 2008. And so Saturn joined him, 2017, and they do a dance about every 30 years or so, and they meet up, but they haven't met up in the sign of Capricorn since the 1500s. So this is really the collapse of an old paradigm, and you may have heard this, age of Aquarius, new paradigm. This is what we're moving into. So many things are happening. Saturn and Pluto together have been working to diminish and dismantle falsities around all the structures that have served our collective and served us on an individual level. So today, which is March 21st, like, what is the date? Saturn is going to move into Aquarius, and we're seeing a preview and feeling a preview of what's to come, because Saturn will be in Aquarius. Really, it only makes it into that first degree. And on May 11th, it will retrograde and come back to 25-degree Capricorn. And then it will go direct September 29th of this year. So we're going to feel a preview of Saturn in Aquarius and this new energy. And then we're going to feel him rewind back into Capricorn. And it'll be our duty not to collapse into the energies that we're like, oh, not this again, but to know that we're like refining. Saturn's always a refining energy. He takes us from coal to crystal to diamond. So understand that that's what's happening within you. And because we are part of a collective, it's happening on a global and collective level. So Aquarius rules things like collective consciousness, unity consciousness. And in this current time of incubation, with Saturn still in Capricorn and then going into Aquarius, we're being guided deep, deep, deep within ourselves, a deep dive into our soul. And this period of incubation is really serving to help us recall our gifts and our abilities, initiating us into purpose, into our true mission as starseeds, as light workers. So there's a lot of like codes, and our DNA is shifting as consciousness shifts. And so as we've been doing so much healing work, really through the Saturn and Capricorn, because this has been driving us into our mastery, taking personal responsibility for our self mastery. So Saturn in Capricorn, I think, has been really necessary because a lot of people really need to go into themselves and really see where they need to do that inner work. So because Aquarius is connected to our soul vision, our dreams, our aspiration, soul tribe, the galactic energies, it's kind of tapped into the to the frequencies of the collective. So it's really a time that we're all uniting through that, especially through the internet, like being at home and having this amazing way of connecting to each other. Even though we are all telepathic, we're going through a time that feels like loss, that feels like crises, because that's that Saturn and Capricorn, Pluto, where people are losing their jobs. They're, in fear of money and stability. How am I going to make, how am I going to, how am I going to secure myself? And our self-worth is linked to security, especially the way we make money. So I understand there's a lot of death, loss, fear, and things that feel incredibly, low, that are arising within us. And this is a really fascinating perspective, a way to look at it, because as Saturn moves into Aquarius, the Aquarian realm of your chart is going to be heavily activated. This is a portal and area that's going to help you share and shine and kind of reform your life. You're going to go through this reformation through the Aquarian part of your chart. So we all have a creative contribution that we can offer to the collective. And that's what the Saturn and Aquarius will be about. It's like, yes, all these things are collapsing, so we can finally truly rebuild a system and rebuild our lives on something that is truly authentic. And that's what Aquarius does. It marches to the beat of its own drum. It doesn't want to listen to the opinions of others, even though it's sensitive, and the energy of Aquarius, it cares, but it has to not care so it can continue on its mission and on its path. That's part of its purpose. So Aquarius Sun, Moon, and Rising will be especially activated in this, the next 2.5 years. Big time when Pluto goes into Aquarius in 2023, which is going to be like complete restoration, power to the people, just from the downloads I'm getting. So I'm very positive and optimistic about the times we're in. This is also about looking at your life and seeing, well, where have I not been in alignment? Maybe I want to write, or I want to start painting again, or gardening. This is a very interesting time because we are so programmed to be on overdrive and to work and to go out into the world. And that's very masculine, very much of taking action. And so now we're being called to really take action when we feel inspired. That's that more balanced masculine feminine, because in the higher 5D energies, we're not just in the 3D. Like we are connecting to our soul, and our soul isn't always wanting us to work in a way that's like, we get in our car, we work 9 to 5, we come home, and in the time matrix. So a lot of us have already departed the time matrix. I mean, artists, creatives, musicians understand that feeling of flow. And collectively, we're going to be really brought into that more. So we have a lot of really exciting things to look for with Saturn in Aquarius. He's only going to make it into just that 1 degree. So this is that we're gearing up, we're getting ready. And then he will retrograde and go all the way back to 25-degree Capricorn, and that will feel tender because he's going to get really close to Pluto again. And we're going to feel that like, okay, things are heavy and we're going in there refining and cleaning up. Because again, Capricorn is an energy of mastery, personal responsibility, spiritual perseverance. So during this time, we're all going to be challenged to see like, where do I need to take this and how do I need to initiate a new path for myself and forge a new, opening. I don't want you to think that you need to do so much. It's most of the collective needs to do less and simply go in and really take care of themselves. I have a lot of clients and friends who are in the service industry who do hair, who do skincare, who do makeup, who are very much touching other people and taking on their energy. And this is a time that can really bring you back into you. I know that I needed that at one point. I was so devoted to being of service that I kind of had a health crisis. And that was also partially due to some things that I'm not quite ready to talk about, but it was really important to distance, to socially distance. And I am understanding, more in a spiritual way that this is a time so we can reclaim our sovereignty. Like, oh, I'm coming back home. Like, what do you really need? And cooking for ourselves, like cleaning, organizing, slowing down. So time is kind of slowing down as well so that we can heal and restore. As Saturn gets into Aquarius, things are going to feel really exciting. So we're going to be really rebuilding things on an authentic level, authentic playing field. The veil's been lifted, and I'm not here to go into the entirety of what that means in this video, but many of us understand what that means. The veil of, the media and Hollywood and, things that are really dark and really hard to talk about. People are understanding what that is. And so we don't want things in place that have been in place. Those things, it's time for them to go because we are here to restore the light. And the way that we do that, like, how do we bring light? How do we go into that? One, we need to self-love. We need to go into self-care, taking care of ourselves, practicing healthy habits and getting in a routine. No, you don't need to like exercise and go crazy with that, but I think a lot of us need to start cooking for ourselves and infuse energy into our food. Like so many of us that have been on overdrive, like eat out and don't quite know, what's fully going on with our food. So bringing the energy back in and creating a devotional way of living, like everything is to help you. And so, kind of creating like a cocoon, like a sauna of love for yourself during this time. And to just do the things you like to do when you like to do them, whether that's reading or writing. We all have social media, perhaps sharing, sharing your voice. It's Aries season, so it's like totally supported to, kind of share that I am presence and what you're about and to start sharing your story. But, it's really about following that simple path of, I like to do this, whether you like to make mala beads or mala necklaces, or you like to paint, whatever it is you like to do, just keep doing that. Like, it's very, very simple. It's supposed to be a time that is bringing us into that place of simplicity, kind of getting back to the roots. Aquarius energy is very much about reforming. We all have talents. We all have things that we are going to offer that help to reform things that have been out of place or forgotten, for a long time. So whether you've lost your job or if you've lost a loved one, or you're going through maybe some type of health issue, to know that this is your time to really take it slow and low, and you're moving into a new opening, a portal of change that is supporting you to be in alignment with your soul's purpose and your soul calling. So keep doing what lights you up and continue to listen to your inner voice, which is your higher self, and not the voice that says mean things to you that creates a feeling of negativity in your body. That's ego. But the higher self will say nice things to you, and it will be softer. It will definitely, well, not always be softer, but it will definitely have you'll understand the difference. But you will undoubtedly arrive at your soul's chosen destination when you just keep following what feels right, what's in flow. When you're in resistance, you're going to have a harder time. You're going to feel stressed out. This time will be especially challenging. The next month, the next 2 months will be especially challenging for those who are refusing to go in, to meditate, to drink water, to eat healthy, um, to do things like turn the TV off and, really sit with yourself, to sit in a space of neutrality, to really go there. So I I know I'm not the best at giving tips. I definitely feel like I'm more of like delivering the information, and sharing what works for me. A lot of times that is really limiting my social media, or how, like, how I feel if I want to engage with someone, because I don't always want to engage with someone if I'm feeling funky or off. So I'll go back into myself and talk to myself. Self-love for me is actually mantras, like saying really beautiful things to myself, and working through weird insecurities, because Saturn does that. Saturn will bring up our insecurities, our limitations, our fears, and it's our job to work through them. That's what makes us a master. And most masters are ones that have learned to develop unconditional compassion for themselves and for others, because they have endured that path of solitude. So Capricorns have been in a really, kind of pressurized energy that's going to start to lift a little bit. That's great, because we need the doers to be in a good space. Saturn in Capricorn has been a redefinition of ego, like what is healthy ego. And Saturn in Capricorn is showing us like where we are overly, where we're just in it for ourselves, where we're just in it for everyone for their own sake of achievement and security. So in Aquarius, we're going to be kind of working together a little bit more and joining forces, even if that is from a distance. Aquarius is paradoxal energy. So there's going to be things that are just very different and strange, but it feels right and it's totally working. And, it's going to bring on the inventive and, what's the word? Well, it's going to bring up the inventive qualities and the ability to implement new ideas. So this is it's a revolutionary time. Aquarius is connected to that. It's going to start to highlight everyone's like inner genius. So definitely look to your Aquarius part of your chart and know that Saturn is making its way for that. That's going to be a theme for you for the next 2.5 years, that you really are dedicating, you're reforming your life through that sector, through that portal. So I hope this helps you guys, and I could go on for so much longer. I don't want to make this too long, but Saturn in Aquarius, definitely a big deal. The North Node will also be going into Gemini, and the North Node rules our collective destiny. So it's been in Cancer for almost 2 years. It's in a sign for 18 months, and it will go into Gemini May 5th. So that's approaching as well. So Saturn in Aquarius, North Node in Gemini, we're going to have some more air energy. And air is intellect and it's intuition, it's communication. So it's going to feel lighter, it's a lighter energy. When the North Node goes into Gemini, I kind of feel that we're going to see more of a harmonious ability to view things, like people being able to step out of their hardcore beliefs and perceptions and start to see things from another angle. I hope that we, because the South Node will then be in Sagittarius, so we can drop some of the more religious or dogmatic belief systems that have been, really in place, and start to go towards more inclusivity and just honoring, where what someone's perception is, and just accepting it as their truth, even though your truth might be different. So these are two big shifts coming up, and we still have Uranus and Taurus, which is, if you're not connecting to your purpose right now, Uranus and Taurus, something in the physical can happen so that it comes for you, so that you're more connected to it. So, it rules things like sudden flashes of insight, breakthroughs, aha moments, natural disasters. And so we have still, this heavy earth energy, Uranus and Taurus, we're seeing that, and it's definitely going to be an awakening of Gaia, an awakening of all of us on the earth plane, awakening us up to energy exchange and money, and maybe a new way of working with it. So whatever part of your chart has Taurus, that's going to kind of move you and shake you up a little bit, to move you out of resistance and change, because Taurus it doesn't like change. It likes to be in one place and stay in the safety of it. So it's kind of forcing us to gather our tools that are not necessarily of the physical. And that's why I mentioned that remembrance of gifts and abilities and things coming online, because we've been preparing for these times for a while, and if you're watching this, it's, most likely that you resonate with being a starseed, a light worker, a way shower. And this is going to feel especially activating for you in this time, because there's enough of us on the planet that are holding light and anchoring into the grid. And so we're going to see some shifts that have been long awaited. So, continue on with nurturing yourself. This is about really being in your truth completely. So we have big stuff going on. Chiron is also in Aries, so we are going through the healing of our identity and what we identify with, and if we're aligning with our core values and core identities. If we want more time, maybe we need to leave a job that is just keeping us in the time matrix. So, or going part-time, really like demanding what we need, and knowing that the universe will always support you. That if you feel called to make a move, but the ego, the external, is like keeping you in a state of fear, then that is something that is not your soul. That's something that's going to come up and try to keep you from pursuing that feel good, soul aligned trajectory. So everything is challenging us into who we think we are, and big stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you feel called to explore your chart, I'm definitely offering discounted sessions right now. I'll link my website below. But just know that you want to keep doing what lights you up. You know, this is most important. Astrology lights me up. So this is my way of offering a little bit of guidance in the way that I can best do it. Um, you know, that's definitely how I feel. And I hope if it helps you, then that's what brings me joy. So lots of love to all of you, you know, in these trying times, but we got this. So I hope to connect with you soon. Bye.